Welcome back to the deep dive. You know that mountain of paperwork that comes with any major construction project?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we're diving into the absolute deepest, densest part of that pile today. We're talking about the employer requirements for quality assurance and quality control, QA/QC.
Right. And if the main contract is the law for the job,
Yeah.
then these requirements are, well, they're the detailed rule book. They govern the integrity, the transparency, the accountability of every single thing that goes into the project.
This is an essential deep dive, then.
It is because this document, it's less about the technical specs of what to build, and it's entirely about the contractual mechanism for proving you built it correctly.
So our mission here is to dissect the employer's strategy.
Exactly. We want to understand the structure they impose, the aggressive deadlines they set, which really force early mobilization, and most importantly, the mandatory reporting.
The reporting that turns quality failures into immediate risks.
Immediate schedule and financial risks for the contractor.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that pressure starts, right on day one. I was struck by this one critical requirement buried right at the start. The contractor is contractually obliged to organize, implement, and get acceptance for a controlled, explicit, and transparent QA/QC process.
And the timeline on that is
49 days. Within 49 days after the commencement date.
49 days. Wow.
That's less than 7 weeks to get the entire quality infrastructure, people, processes, documents fully up, running, and approved.
The deadline is proof, really. It shows the employer views compliance as just non-negotiable from the second the contract is signed.
It's like they're screaming, you better be ready to document everything before you even pour the foundation.
It is. That rapid mobilization, it immediately forces the contractor to prioritize the admin setup just as highly as, getting trucks on flight.
So why all the fuss? The contract must say something about the purpose of this huge quality machine.
It does, and it's surprisingly clear. It lists 3 high-level goals. First, QA is there to create optimal project management. It's a control tool.
Yeah.
Second, it implements quality control to ensure all the requirements are actually met on the ground.
And the third?
And the third goal is key: securing defined handover and decision moments. It's about formalizing every single milestone.
Okay, before we get into the nuts and bolts, let's just quickly establish the difference between QA and QC. Those acronyms get thrown around all the time.
Right. A simple way to think about it is quality assurance, or QA, is the system. It's the prevention policy.
It's what you do before the work starts.
Exactly. To ensure you won't make a mistake. The training, the documents, the procedures. Quality control, QC, that's detection.
That's the boots on the ground stuff.
Right. During or after construction, the inspection, the testing, the measurement, the employer wants an integrated system managing both, so the system prevents problems and the checks catch anything that slips through.
Got it. Okay, let's unpack that system then, the quality management system, or QMS. The sources show it has to operate on 2 different levels.
Yes, and that seems designed to stop the contractor from just using generic off-the-shelf procedures.
That's the contractual genius of it, right?
I think so. The first level is the corporate level. This is the contractor's basic quality certification. It has to be compliant with ISO 9001 or an equivalent.
The international standard.
The international standard, yes. And crucially, it must be regularly audited by an independent third party. This proves the company has a baseline capability.
But I'm guessing the employer's thinking a baseline isn't good enough for our multi-billion-dollar project.
Exactly right. And that brings us to the second, more important level, the works level.
The project-specific customization.
That's it. The QMS has to be continuously developed and maintained to align with every single specific requirement of this contract. It's the parachute for this project's unique risks, its climate, its technical complexity.
And linking those 2 layers is the core document, the Bible of quality for the site.
Yeah.
The quality assurance plan, or QAP.
The QAP is the central nervous system. It's where the contractor details everything, which standards they'll follow, how their corporate policies get translated into site-specific procedures.
And how all the partners, if it's a joint venture, are all working from the same playbook.
Precisely. A single unified control system. The employer is demanding a clear line of accountability from the CEO right down to the site inspector.
That kind of complexity, it must require some dedicated leadership.
It does. The documents mandate an integrated QA/QC organization just for the project, and it has to cover all the subcontractors and partners too. No silos.
And that organization is led by one person.
A dedicated quality manager. This person is the single point of contact for the employer on all things quality, and they have to be properly resourced with auditors, inspectors, the works.
So their role is huge. They're making sure every single person on site complies with the QAP.
Massive. And they manage everything required for the final certification.
Yeah.
That position is a huge contractual choke point.
So once that structure is in place, the employer enforces this rhythm of proactive planning. Within 28 days, they require a joint contract kickoff meeting.
And QA/QC is a primary focus of that meeting.
So this is the first real check that the 49-day deadline is being taken seriously.
Absolutely. The contractor can't just show up and say, "We're ready." They have to present a summary of their project-specific QMS.
And they have to detail the main quality risks they've identified.
And their plans to mitigate those risks. They are forced to disclose their weaknesses and their solutions immediately.
That sounds like a heavy administrative burden just to get off the starting block. And it doesn't stop, right?
Not at all. The requirements state that quality assurance has to be a key item at all regular monthly progress meetings.
So quality is never allowed to be just a side note.
That consistent mandated presence prevents the quality team from being pushed aside by schedule pressures. And the employer uses the monthly progress report to enforce that vigilance.
Yeah, I found the list of required items for that report fascinating. They're specifically targeted at forcing transparency on problems that are still open.
You mean the outstanding actions?
Exactly. You have to list an overview of audits performed, but also explicitly list the closed and the outstanding actions. Same for tests and inspections. It's a monthly public confession of your ongoing problems.
It forces transparency, yes, but the most powerful requirement is the one that links a quality failure directly to the project timeline.
Oh, right. The report demands a detailed status of nonconformities, NCRs.
Including the corrective action plan and, this is the real leverage, the recovery of time lost because of the failure.
Wait, so the contractor can't just fix a faulty weld and move on. They have to actually quantify the schedule hit.
And report on how they plan to regain that lost time.
Wow.
It fundamentally shifts the impact. A quality failure is no longer just a physical issue. It's an immediate schedule and financial risk that the contractor has to quantify and report on every single month.
So a quality failure becomes a schedule failure.
Instantly.
And to stop them from repeating those same failures, the contract mandates continuous improvement through a specific report.
Yes, the lessons learned report. It's required after completing any distinct phase of the project.
And it's not enough just to list what went wrong.
Not at all. The report has to describe the lessons and give a detailed description of how these lessons will be implemented and put into future plans, like the inspection plan or the main QAP itself.
So it forces the documents to be truly living and evolving based on what's actually happening on site.
That's the mechanism.
Okay, let's shift from the proactive planning to the reactive problem-solving side. When something's unclear, the contractor submits a technical query, a TQ.
Write a request for clarification. And the TQ system is all about speed.
Enforced by another aggressive deadline.
Another one. The response time is mandated at 21 days after receipt, whether it comes from the contractor or the employer.
3 weeks. On a project of this size, that feels very tight for detailed technical clarification.
It is, and it can become a bottleneck. Because while the TQ is fast, it has very strict boundaries. The document specifically says a TQ shall not automatically constitute a variation.
Ah, that's a key distinction.
It's critical. If the clarification actually changes the scope or the design or the cost, the contractor has to use a separate, much more complex procedure for variations.
So that boundary stops the contractor from using the quick TQ route as a sort of backdoor to claim for extra time or money. It separates simple questions from formal changes.
Exactly. Now let's look at the formal problem, the nonconformity or NCR.
This is the deviation, a failure to meet the specs, the contract, the standards.
This is where the contract becomes, well, mercilessly strict, especially around reporting deadlines.
The timelines are immediate. The contractor has to inform the employer without undue delay, and then the electronic transfer deadline kicks in.
And it depends on the activity.
Right. For installation activities, things happening on site, maybe with an immediate risk, it's no later than 24 hours after it happens.
And for fabrication, which might be off-site.
At the first working day after it happens.
That different timing is deliberate. It prioritizes immediate site safety, but the rapid reporting continues.
Yeah, the contractor has to follow up with a detailed written report root cause analysis, corrective action plan within just 14 days.
Which forces immediate analysis and a commitment to fix it before the problem can be buried or forgotten.
And the whole life of this NCR is completely controlled by the employer. The register has to track all the details.
But the employer holds the sign-off pin.
Which is the ultimate contractual leverage point.
It is. The NCR item can only be closed after approval by the employer. Even if the contractor fixes the physical issue and does all the retesting, the contractual item stays open until the employer signs off.
That gives them powerful ongoing leverage right up to the final handover.
For sure.
Okay, so moving to proactive verification. This all centers on the inspection and test plan, the ITP, the project's roadmap for checking everything.
And that ITP has to be comprehensive. It's not just the final product. It's tests and inspections of individual items, subsystems, the whole works. And, just like with audits, they have to submit a 3-month look ahead every single month.
Reinforcing that rhythm of planning. And this is where the contract really dictates the project flow. The distinction between witness points and hold points.
Both require 14 days notice to the employer.
Why 14 days?
It gives the employer's inspection staff time to mobilize, travel, get it on their schedule. But the critical difference between the two dictates whether the work stops or not.
So a witness point is?
A witness point means the contractor can proceed with the work without the employer being there as long as they gave the written notice. It's an opportunity for observation.
So it's like sending a text, I'm starting the concrete core now, and if they don't show up, you just carry on.
Pretty much. But the whole point, that's the contractual stop sign.
With a hold point, the contractor shall not proceed with that critical part of the work without the employer's physical attendance.
Or their explicit written permission to skip it. If the employer is late, the work stops, period.
That is immense power in the hands of the employer. They can stop the construction clock on any critical activity.
If they aren't satisfied or if they just want to exercise their right to inspect, this is where schedule pressure gets really intense.
It forces a mandatory synchronization.
And it puts the burden of schedule risk squarely on the contractor if their documentation or readiness isn't perfect before that hold point date.
And the employer ensures oversight through dual audit requirements.
Right. The contractor has to audit their own work and their subs based on risk.
But the employer reserves the right to check the checkers, so to speak.
Absolutely. The employer can perform their own audits and surveys. And even more invasively, they have the right to participate as an observer in the contractor's audits of their subcontractors.
So no quality issue can stay hidden deep in the supply chain.
It extends the employer's visibility right down to the Tier 2 suppliers.
If we zoom out, the sheer scope of this quality assurance plan is just overwhelming. It has to detail the quality policies, specific roles, coordination plans, procedures for TQs, variations, NCRs.
Identification and traceability of all materials.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the blueprint for total control and transparency.
And what binds this whole system together is that explicit declaration that the QAP has to be a living document.
It must be kept updated continuously until the final taking over of the works. This dense paperwork is not just a filing exercise.
No.
It's an active operational system designed to force communication, documentation, and continuous improvement for the entire life of the project.
It ensures that accountability is baked into every single step, from the first survey stake to the final handover. It's about building a flawless chain of custody for quality.
Indeed. And for you, the learner, this whole system raises I think, a really provocative question to think about.
Okay.
Given the immense detail required for the QMS, the TQ process flows, the ITPs, all subject to multiple levels of approval, how might that tightly mandated 21-day response period for a technical query,
which we said was really fast,
how might that ultimately influence the pace and complexity of a project phase that is subject to a strict hold point? That collision of timing, administrative bottleneck, and physical stop work control, that's where major project delays are ultimately born.
If you're interested in the templates, please visit our shop. The link is in the description.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and see next time.